Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before we get started, I want to remind you to click that subscribe button, hit that bell so you get notified every time I put out a new video. So what are we doing today? Today is day one, we are taking a road trip from British Columbia, Canada to Winnipeg, Manitoba. Now, towards the end of this video, I am going to give all of the pertinent details such as charging stops, the amount of charging time added to the total trip time, as well as what I charged the car to, because it's not what you may think. As well as I'm going to add the total cost of the trip. Stay tuned. This is going to be a very informative and interesting video to shoot. Again, today is day one. We are leaving today from British Columbia, Canada. We are driving to Winnipeg, Manitoba. I've got my wife and my 3 kids as co-pilots. Stay tuned. Now, something that I want to point out right away is packing up the vehicle on day one before we left home was actually very, very easy. I did originally want to use the 3rd row just for more comfort for the 2 older kids. But with the suitcases, and we did bring a cooler so that we could keep some of the food for the road trip cold, there just wasn't enough room. Now, having said that, there was more than enough room for our suitcases and the cooler and everything. Nothing was really squashed in, per se. Like some vehicles, you really have to pack them tight. There was more than enough room for all of that, and even getting stuff from the cooler and the suitcase when we needed it, it was very, very easy to do. The kids were very comfortable in the back seat. Everyone with the 2 booster seats and the 1 car seat for our youngest, everything was fit in very, I'll use the term loosely. Nothing was really crammed in. The kids were very, very comfortable in that aspect of things. So I just wanted to point that out, that with 2 kids aged 5 and 3 and 1 aged 2 years old, they're both, all 3 of them are average size. Nobody is larger or smaller, all average size for their ages. Everything was fit in very comfortable. I'm 6 foot, just over 200 pounds, and even driving the vehicle and vice versa, sitting in the passenger seat, I was very comfortable. I didn't find that the leg space was too tight. I was very comfortable, and my wife was very comfortable as well with the seating arrangements and the packed in. Other than that, we're just we're chugging along here. Everything is great. The car is great so far on its very first road trip. Something I did notice, and I'm going to point this out here, is I just want to show you. So as you can see, that is not a Tesla. There is about 4 vehicles parked in the Tesla charging area, and I just find that so inconsiderate, especially when, like, right there, those signs say Tesla vehicle charging only. Tesla vehicle charging only. The only thing I can say to that is open your eyes. Like, here comes somebody else, like, it like, just as I'm shooting this video now, like, somebody else is parking, like really, right? So just kind of be aware that Tesla says they have a number that you can call and tell them, but it's not like they're going to send 5 tow trucks. You know what I mean? And yeah, so it may be hectic, charging your car, especially when people do that, but I guess it is what it is. What else can you do? So I'm going to keep you updated as we roll on here. We are going from BC to Manitoba, and then I'll be going back while my wife and kids fly back. And I'll keep you updated the whole way there and back. And hopefully this ends up being a good video. I'll let you know of any issues we run into. Other than the phantom braking, we have run into 0 issues. Knock on wood. And thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned. Hey, so we are on
day 2 of our road trip, and so far so good. We have 0 issues with the vehicle so far. I will talk a little bit later towards the end of the video about phantom braking and what role, if any, the thick smoke from the forest fires here in BC played in that phantom braking. And I'll tell you how we got around that and how our full self-drive feature was. This is our first time. We do drive quite often on the highway for very short periods of time going to and from work. With very little to no phantom braking at all. But we'll talk about how that phantom braking acted during long road trips, such as our very first one that we're taking now. And ultimately, everything is good. Everyone is comfortable in the vehicle. The vehicle is running very smooth, and even with the amount of dirt and grime and debris, obviously from the bugs and stuff on the windshield wipers did a really good job keeping the windshield clean for the cameras, and even the sensors really weren't affected very much by the dirt at all. The only issue, if you can even call it an issue, really is just the phantom braking, which, as I mentioned just a few moments ago, we'll talk more about that towards the end of the video. Stay tuned for day 3, and then we'll go through all of the pertinent details, the distances, the charging costs, what everything cost, and yeah, we'll go through all of that. Stay tuned. Now, day 3 was very much the same. It was still smoky even coming into Winnipeg. You could see there was a lot less smoke, obviously, but day 3, very much the same. Smoky, not really any phantom braking at all. It seemed to get less and less as we came out of those smoky areas. Other than that, everything was problem-free all the way to Winnipeg, Manitoba. And in fact, it was very much the same on the way back as well. Little to no phantom braking at all. The full self-drive feature worked very well. At nighttime, I drove right through the night, and very, very little issues to speak of. I'll talk a little bit more about that phantom braking in a different video, as well as the full self-drive feature of both at night, during the day, with all the bugs and the dirt and the grime, as well as in the rain. I'll talk about all of that in a different video as well, but problem-free for the most part. And now, what everyone has been waiting for, let's go through all of the numbers. We're talking charging costs, the cost for the full drive, the kilometers, and basically overall what we experienced in regards to supercharging, the time it took to supercharge, and some of the other issues, as well as some of the tactics that we used in navigating from our start point to our end point. It may not be what you think, but let's get right into it.
Okay, so now the moment that everyone has been waiting for. What are the numbers? So here are the details of our trip from British Columbia, Canada, to Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. So the total travel time without supercharging is 21 hours and 41 minutes. It's a total distance of 2,194.1 kilometers. That works out to be 1,363.35 miles, 351 miles to be exact. With charging, it was 27 hours and 21 minutes total drive time with charging. The cost of this, now this is where the savings really come in of owning an electric car. Not necessarily just a Tesla, but owning an electric car in general. So obviously with our Tesla Model Y long range, it was $117.19 Canadian. That's going to Winnipeg. Coming home to BC was $117.51. Now, when I went to Winnipeg last year on my own, it was $155, almost $156 Canadian for gas. Now that was when gas was much, much lower, obviously due to the pandemic. Gas has really skyrocketed since then. I guarantee this trip probably would have been close to $300, if not maybe a little bit under that. So total charge time of 6 hours and 20 minutes, which is not bad considering we had 3 kids. You know, we let them out of the car, they ran around, they stretched their legs, they got rid of some built up energy of their own. So I mean, 6 hours and 20 minutes of charge time, it's to be expected. We own an electric car. It's definitely worth it though, considering just the savings alone. So those are the numbers of our travel from BC to Manitoba and then back again. Now the weight difference going there and coming back, I mean, I had my wife with me, we had a cooler, we had a couple of suitcases, we had the 3 kids and the car seats. Not a whole heck of a lot of a weight difference, although I did spend a few extra cents coming home. And that was just due to some additional charge time. I did take my time. Now, one thing that we did differently is we did not listen to the Tesla stop here, here, and here and charge for this much, this much, this much. Because we had 3 kids and we had to let them out, run around, stretch their legs, burn off some built up energy. What we did is we just navigated supercharger to supercharger. So we might skip a supercharger and go to the next one. We never went below 20 to 25%. 30% was our threshold, and then 20 to 25% was our, like, that's the lowest that we're going. And that was just in case, you know, we got stranded somewhere. At least we had enough battery, you know, to wait for a tow truck or whatever, which never happened, thankfully. But that's our threshold in general, just every day, is about 25%. We don't like to go below 25%. That leaves us an extra 5% just in case, because Tesla does recommend keeping it between 20 and 90%. Daily charging for us too, and I'll just throw this out there, I know this is probably part of another video, but daily charging for us is we usually generally charge it up at about 30%, and we usually go to 80% now, because now that we've nailed down our driving needs every day, we don't need to go to 85 or 90%. We go to 80%, sometimes even a little bit under. But that is the numbers. Those are the numbers for our very first road trip. I hope this video has been of some assistance to people that are thinking about buying a Tesla, whether it be a Model Y, a Model S, what have you, even a Model 3. Hopefully this video has been of some assistance in regards to costs to do a road trip. And again, those numbers, just the distance alone was 2,194.1 kilometers, works out to be 1,363.351 miles. Don't ask me how I came up with that math. I just did the calculation. That's what the calculator spit out. And then the total cost to Winnipeg was $117.19, so $117.19. Cost coming back was $117.51. So those are the numbers. That's fairly cheap when you talk about that many kilometers, that amount of distance. So thank you so much for tuning in to another video. Again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so you know when I put out new videos. Thanks so much. Until next time, bye for now. One thing that I wanted to mention as well in this video is something that I'll be talking about in a different video. It is phantom braking. Now, as you can see by looking at this video, you can see that it is quite smoky here in BC and even into parts of Alberta and Saskatchewan. It was a little less smoky in Manitoba, although there was still some smoke there. So I think that the smoke was in fact heavy enough to cause phantom braking here and there. It wasn't very pronounced, although we did have some issues of phantom braking. One thing that I will point out in a different video specifically on phantom braking is that there, at least for our vehicle, obviously we got our vehicle after May of 2021. We got it June 26th. It was built on June 18th. So we have the radarless Model Y. But one thing I noticed is that the different levels of phantom braking is that if, and I'm still looking into this quite a bit with Tesla, but one thing I noticed is that the vehicle will either brake hard, like it'll do a very hard brake, or it'll do a lighter brake and it could be because of the smoke, is that we had a very light phantom braking issue here and there. It wasn't so pronounced that we decided not to use the full self-drive, as we do have that feature with our vehicle. We still used it basically 98% of the time, 97% of the time. And it came in very helpful, especially having 3 kids in the car. We were able to do a little bit more, although obviously with the full self-drive feature, you do still have to pay attention to the road and be ready to take over at any time. And all we do when we have that phantom braking issues, we just simply take over acceleration of the car. And usually within a matter of not even 1 or 2 seconds, we can take our foot off the accelerator and the vehicle resumes as normal. I'll talk a little bit more about phantom braking in a different video, but I just wanted to let you know that, yeah, as you can tell by these videos from the onboard cameras, that it was quite smoky. In some parts of BC, it was very smoky, and I think that's what contributed a lot to the phantom braking, at least on this road trip specifically. Well, everybody, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to another video. I know this one was a little bit longer, but I wanted to give as much detail as possible into our first lengthy road trip and how the vehicle acted for us and what we had in the way of issues, phantom braking, struggling to find room in the car, that sort of thing, which overall out of a 10, I would probably give this, with the little bit of phantom braking that we had, I would give this definitely even a 9.5 out of 10. It was all in all, it was a great road trip. Little to no problems at all. Lots of room in the vehicle. The vehicle acted just as it should. No weird noises. Even with a few wind gusts here and there, the vehicle was sturdy enough on the road. And something I actually just thought of now is road noise. I didn't talk about road noise. Road noise was no more, in my opinion, no more than a regular internal combustion engine car. The road noise was the exact same. We drive a 2020 4Runner as well, and the road noise is the same between the two on the highway. So even with the little bit of wind here and there, it was quite a very comfortable ride in the 2021 Model Y Long Range Edition. And we had more than enough room as well. So thank you so much for tuning in. We're out of time for today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when we put out more videos. And other than that, thank you so much for tuning in. I continue to work on my editing skills and video production skills, and I'm sure that you're gonna find they get better and better as I put out more and more videos. Thank you so much. Until next time, bye for now.